It's so weird how it becomes a privilege to do something that you
Because
love.
people
When
ask,
film
why did you get
just
your doctorate?
anything
Educated.
art based in general in film
Mm.
is quite difficult.
Okay, professional.
Welcome to the Mukundi Foundation Limited podcast series. For more information on what this podcast is about, check out our introduction video on YouTube at Tanaka Mapundira. For now, let's get into this episode.
Hi, I'm good. I'm not bad.
That's good. Please do go ahead and introduce yourself and briefly tell us about what you're doing right now.
Okay, my name is Lennox Makurumidze. I am a spoken word artist slash poet and slash community manager for Afrotopia.
Oh, great. Aren't you also into photography, Lennox?
Oh yes, oh yes, I am a photographer.
Your work
I
is
am a
amazing. How
photographer.
could you leave that out? Anyways, Lennox, if you don't mind, please do share with us your journey from high school, even before then, to where you are now. I would really, really like for the audience to hear about your journey and hopefully learn something from it.
Okay, so my journey has been quite interesting. To be honest, the first thing that I would like to put out there is that it's been a blessing. It's all been God's blessing from one point to the next.
Yeah.
You know, it was not about my capabilities or that I'm super smart or I'm super dedicated or I know the right things to do. Simply, I think it's been God that has just, been putting me in the right places to meet the right people to do the right things.
Mm. Yeah.
Uh, but I'm learning to grow. Okay, wait. My journey starts in wow. It's My journey starts way back in high school. Um, I was never the kid, that you would find running around doing sports or stuff like that. I would always like literally run away from sports day or stuff like that. I was lucky enough that by the time I started learning in Prince Edward, um, I was I was now a house prefect. So most of the times I spend most of my time doing culturals.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did culturals, I did public speaking, I did debate, and when I did debate, we were in a competition versus one of our adversary schools, and I missed the debate. And I was like an amazing debater, but that day, like I don't know what happened. I was off, and I cost the team everything, and
Yeah.
we couldn't go to provincials. Then public speaking. One of the um, one of the prefects who was in charge, senior prefect, decided to take my spot to perform at the provincials,
Mm-hmm.
and I just didn't get an opportunity to do that. So, I struggled to just, find my space, find a place where I can go like, this is what I'm good at, and I'm gonna excel at it.
Mm-hmm.
So this at the time I was sitting down and just, singing. I was trying to sort of kind of sing, but it wasn't singing. It just had rhythm. Then I met this guy called TK, and then, TK was like, um, "Do you know what you're doing is called spoken word?" And I was like, "What's spoken word?"
Mm.
And then like, um, he sort of like took me through the ropes of what spoken word is. And I immediately just fell in love with the art, with the people in the industry. I go for poetry slams with TK. I would walk from school to go and attend House of Hunger poetry slam and
Mm.
stuff like that. And um, I fell in love with the culture. So I went back to school because I was bored and I was like, yo, what if we started a club for like spoken word artists so that they can express themselves? And it's a way to heal and just help people be better people.
Yeah.
And it was hard. I don't want to lie to you. it was hard. Indoctrinating people on something completely different that they've never heard before was so hard.
Mhm.
It was like I was recruiting a cult. It was so weird. I would see like kids doing like rap, and then I'll go like literally what you see in the movies, where you see a kid, he's doing rap, and you're like, yo, dude, do you know that you can turn that into like spoken word and stuff? Up
Mhm.
until like I got a group of kids from different backgrounds in a group, and we'll talk about spoken word, we share about spoken word, and I finally decided to go to my headmaster with the idea of starting a spoken word club. At first, it was difficult, but after the after delayed and rescheduled meetings with the headmaster like a couple of times, I finally had a meeting with him, and we spoke. And I started preparing for the launch of my first spoken word club, and it went well. I had a really beautiful support structure. I had so many people who, in fact, like three-quarters of the people that I was working with, people like Jerome, people like Leon, people like Chikudo, they were so supportive. They're people who really helped me. I was this kid who literally didn't know what he was doing, but somehow, I made it look like I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I
Fake it till
finally
you make
started
it.
the club. Yeah, and the launch, you were there for the launch. It was beautiful, fairy lights all over the place, food, people enjoyed.
Yeah.
It was unlike anything that kids in high school should be pulling off.
Wait, was it that one that poetry event that happened in 2016, the end of 2016?
Exactly.
Wow, I remember that. That was amazing. You organized all of that.
Pardon?
I said, were you in charge of organizing all of that?
Yes, yes,
That's
that was
incredible.
literally from head to toe, all me.
Wow.
Few people would pitch up here and there, but it was quite interesting. It was a learning curve for what I was doing, and I guess God was just preparing me for higher things. Because fast forward later on to uh, 20, 2017. No, yeah, 2017. Uh, that's when I started looking for stuff that I can do after school. I started studying architecture, etc., etc. And I didn't really like it,
Mm-hmm.
but I was still going for those poetry slams, and I would meet so many like diverse people in terms of the way that they think and the way that they talk.
Yeah.
So it helped me see a broader view. That's when I started understanding the importance of music, and the importance of photography, the importance of art, and how it can help grow the world of creatives.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an educational experience going for these different meetings, different uh, organizations, and meeting these different people from different backgrounds, rich or poor. But again, I was still walking like crazy distance to go for these slams, and my Kwan was completely against it. These are the time I went for a poetry slam, and I left like a wardrobe in the rain, and my Kwan was so pissed off, and you're like, yo, what will poetry ever bring to you and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
luckily, the day I got that wardrobe uh, messed up, I'd actually won a poetry slam, and I'd won 200 US to pay for the poetry slam.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was very interesting. But I grew. I the more I grew and the more I started finding myself out and book launches, I finally managed to launch my first book. Um, then from there on, people just started. I started attracting the right people in my life, and it was amazing. I kept
Mm-hmm.
on meeting people who, um, again, were putting me from one level to the next. I met Umai; she became my mentor after TK, and she believed in me in ways I cannot even begin to explain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she invested countless time to who I am and what I am today. She
Yeah.
was an amazing soul, and she did it wholeheartedly,
Mm-hmm.
without asking any questions or without payment or anything.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2019, 2020, I fell in love with photography, and I just started randomly taking photos. It was actually the funny thing was I actually met a guy, right, who was taking photos, and he was like, "Yo, dude, can you take a couple of photos for me?" And when he came back, I'd actually done a good job, and he was like, "Yo, dude, you should invest in a camera."
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Ignite You, where I was given the first camera that I had in a long time. So they'll like sort of like lend me the camera, and then they'll take it, and yeah, I started growing from there and taking shots. And then I was lucky enough to be selected for this thing called Digi Poems, where this is when I started thinking about conceptual photography. This is when I started thinking about being intentional about my art and trying to make a living from my art.
Yeah.
And it completely changed my life because DigiSpace was putting 14 creatives in a house for 14 days, and we learned so much from each other, and it was an exchange of beautiful minds, and that transformed my creativity forever. I thank those guys for everything that they did for me.
Mm-hmm.
um, Fast forward to 2020, the beginning of 2021, that's when I finally got this job as community manager for Afrotopia. And I've been trying to just do the same things that people did for me, just spreading that art is amazing, art is beautiful, and it can be used to grow the human mind, the human spirit, and even become a source of income,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how you charter your road and how you take your road. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster.
Wow, what a journey. Lennox, you mentioned at some point that after high school you studied architecture. Please tell us a bit more about that. Where did you do it? What subjects did you do in high school to end up doing that? And how did that end up going for you?
Okay, so I studied math, geo, and technical graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was hard. Architecture was hard, but for some reason, that song by J. Cole, apparently,
Yeah.
I think that's the best song for my life. Apparently God believed it. And
Mm-hmm.
I found favor in the places that I went to. I studied architecture by Harare Poly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I quit in my last year
Yeah.
because I fell in love with poetry. I fell in love with the art industry, and but then the lesson and the things that I learned from it really revolutionized my life,
Mm-hmm.
and it also became part and parcel of my growth as an artist. So I think it was very good foundation for me.
Yeah. How did you said you've got quite a good relationship with your mom. How did she take, the whole quitting architecture school? What was that like between you and your mom?
She up till now she still doesn't understand it. She still doesn't
Yeah.
understand it, but now she's supporting because after the book launch, she then realized that it can be a source of income, and they can growth can come, and um, just because you're an artist doesn't mean your life is over.
Yeah.
There is more to being an artist than just the typical view of an artist. The drugs, whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
the lifestyle. There is more to there's a sophisticated part of art which is gorgeous and peaceful.
Yeah. Wow. Yo,
So
I
it's
can't,
it's
yeah.
taking time, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
slowly but surely, yeah, I'm slowly but surely teaching her that art is not the way it is perceived, or creativity is not this monster that the world has painted it to be.
Yeah. And then you said that you're currently working at Afrotopia. Please do tell us a bit more about Afrotopia.
Afrotopia is a co-working space for creatives. It was built on the ideology of trying to create a safe haven for artists and for them to grow their craft, to grow their being, to grow their existence. Trying to give platforms to creatives who want to grow and become a business.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's great. Now, Lennox, before we end this episode, is there anything you would like to say to a young creative person who might be listening to this and is trying to figure out how to get to where they want to go, or maybe advice that you would give to your younger self while he was trying to figure out what to do?
Okay. Be yourself. The world has its idea of who a person is supposed to be and what they're supposed to be. I think just work on understanding. When there's no enemy within, no enemy outside can harm you. So
Yeah, wow.
I really want, I really believe that if you understand yourself, you can understand the world better. You have a better chance of focusing on growing who you are meant to be and your purpose. And know these four things in life: know yourself, know your purpose, know your worth, know God.
Mm. Wow. Wow, thank you so much, Lennox, for that piece of advice. And to everybody who's listening, I hope you managed to grab one or two things or so much more from Lennox's journey. And thank you so much, Lennox, for coming onto this platform and sharing your journey. I truly appreciate it.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Cool, no problem. So, guys, to everybody listening, if you have any questions for Lennox, please don't hesitate to contact. And if you have any questions about Mukundi podcast or would like to be featured or find out anything, don't hesitate to contact us as well. Thank you so much for listening and catch you guys in the next episode.